Welcome to Landing Imperfect, the podcast where we embrace the beauty of life's imperfections. I'm your host, Jen Lander, a psychiatric nurse practitioner, a devoted mom to two incredible boys, and a loving wife. I'm here to share my passion for personal development, and together we'll explore the transformative journey of breaking through fears that hold us back, learning to live life imperfectly, and making meaningful connections. Life has a series of highs and lows, and we all face challenges that shape who we are. But within those imperfections lies incredible strength, resilience, and endless opportunities for growth. Join me each week as I dive into inspiring solo episodes and heartfelt conversations with guests, all aimed at empowering you to make a positive impact in your life. Whether you're seeking guidance on navigating relationships, managing mental health, or simply looking for motivation to chase your dreams, Landing Imperfect is your safe space to learn, reflect, and embrace the journey of self-discovery. So, buckle up and get ready to embark on this transformative adventure with me. Together, we'll explore the power of embracing imperfections and discover the extraordinary within the ordinary. This is Landing Imperfect. Now let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on my very first episode of Landing Imperfect. I feel like there's no way around this awkward intro. I might be the worst at intros, so I'm just going to dive in. I wanted to talk with you guys about taking action, even when you might not feel ready to start working towards your goals. You know, many of us have like these big dreams and aspirations, but we often find ourselves stuck in a cycle of hesitation and procrastination. We want to wait for like this perfect moment when we feel ready to take the first step. But here's the thing. Success rarely waits for us to feel ready. It's achieved by those who take action. Action's the key word. So regardless of their initial fears and doubts, people who are achieving success are just they're taking the steps forward. They're taking the action. So I thought this would be a great first episode because I have been sitting on a dream of having a successful podcast and reaching and impacting so many people for a while now. I first wanted to start a podcast 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And you know what I've been doing with this dream over the last 2 years? Just thinking about it. Just thinking and wishing for the perfect right moment to come and slap me across the face and say, it's time. I mean, that's ridiculous. And I certainly do not feel ready for this podcast right now. But 2 months ago, I started taking a podcasting course with Kathy Heller, which, by the way, she's absolutely incredible at pumping people up. She's hitting the pain points and she's just really helping people realize that they can do tough stuff even before that they're ready. So she was the exact person that I needed to listen to at this time in my life. But anyhow, so 2 months ago, I took a chance on myself and invested in this podcast stream that I had. And I'm a recovering perfectionist, and it takes a lot of effort for me to challenge myself if I feel like there's a chance that I might fail. So trust me, I am very familiar with self-doubt and just being critical of myself, having fears of being judged by other people. But I just got really sick of feeling and living that way, which is why I'm working really hard to level up and gain some real growth personally and professionally. I mean, playing small, it has a cost. So one of the main reasons to take action, even when you're not feeling ready, is the cost of inaction. So when we delay our dreams, we're essentially putting our life on hold and we're missing opportunities of growth that can only come if we're actually taking action. And I spent 2 years not taking action, which has cost me time and potentially a lot of missed opportunities to make meaningful connections with people all over the world. And another significant challenge when it comes to taking action is fear. So fear of failure and also fear of the unknown and fear of not being good enough. All of those things can hold us back. I have definitely fallen victim to all of those things. And the cost has not been worth it at all. But there's this book that I absolutely love that I read in the summertime, which has really changed my mindset and helped me take the steps forward. It is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And in the book, he says, fear is a state of mind. It is nothing more than a state of mind. One state of mind is subject to control and direction. I mean, that is Absolutely true. And another favorite quote that I have about fear is only as deep as the mind allows. So we really got to break through some of that fear too. And then overthinking, that's another obstacle that can prevent us from taking action. So we get caught up in this analysis paralysis loop where we're just over analyzing every aspect of our plan until it feels impossible to move forward. I mean, we're very gifted in that way. But Napoleon Hill, he came through with another good one. He said, "It is your right to be rich. You are here to lead the abundant life and to be happy and radiant and free." And this to me means more than financially rich, just simply successful in life, which I mean, we know to mean achieving our goals, no matter how big or small. And I'm speaking a lot about this book because, like I said, it really made a huge impact on my life. And if you haven't read it, I would highly recommend you reading it because it's a game changer. So I just want to dig a little bit deeper into this good book. And I wanted to talk real quick about 5 things that I do find meaningful enough to share right now. And those things are desire, faith, planning, persistence, and then a mastermind group, which mastermind group is just a fancy way of saying like minded friends. So, desire is where it all starts, a burning desire to achieve your goals. I mean, without a strong desire, it's challenging to find the motivation to take action. Motivation can often get us started and gives us momentum to start taking action, but it's the burning desire that keeps us going when times get tough and the motivation is waning. And then faith, it's believing in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals. If you believe in yourself, there's nothing that you can't do. Napoleon Hill, he said, "What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." And I believe that to be true. So, successful people, they don't just act haphazardly, they have a clear plan and are willing to adjust it as needed. So, planning is that place, it's the bridge between desire and achievement. And then there is this other thing. There's these 3 Ps too. It's patience, persistence, and perspiration. So that combination is an unbeatable combination for success. Persistence is crucial. We have to have the courage to start, but we also have to have the courage to endure and persist when times get tough. When you have this goal, but you're feeling like you're this ninja warrior tackling obstacles that are coming out of left field and you're up against unforeseen setbacks, persistence is going to be your best friend. I am no stranger to this. It took me 10 years to get my master's degree. I knew I wanted to be financially independent. I wanted to be able to take care of my kids and myself without needing the help of others. And I'm so grateful for it. I received so much help financially, emotionally, everything throughout my life and while I was working towards this goal. So I had this burning desire to be fully independent, and without persistence, there is no way I would have ever achieved that goal. There's I mean, there was financial obstacles, setbacks from having kids and raising kids and going through a miscarriage and getting married and going through grief and just tons of different things that I was working through when I was working towards this goal. I mean, a decade is a very long time to persistently work towards a goal. And I'm just here to tell you, though, I have no regrets. It has absolutely paid off. And then surrounding yourself with like minded people who can support and inspire you is it's essential. Your social network can be a powerful force in taking action towards your goals. This has saved my butt so many times. The saying, "You are who you hang out with," it holds a lot of weight, and it's dang near impossible to be an orange in an apple tree, if you know what I'm saying. So, something else that we could do. So let's start by taking small steps towards our goals. So instead of trying to tackle the biggest goal all at once, just break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Taking that first small step can help build your confidence and momentum. And then visualizing too. This is something that I'm like new to. I'm not new to knowing about it, I'm just new to practicing it. So I put this into my own practice a couple months ago And so here's an example of what I did. I had this really difficult conversation a few weeks ago that I was dreading. Yeah, I was dreading this conversation, but what I did was 15 minutes before the conversation, I visualized how I wanted the conversation to go. So I pictured how I wanted to feel, how my body posture was, my tone. I pictured myself saying exactly what I needed to say, and then also saying what the other person needed to hear to feel heard. And that doesn't mean that I agreed with everything that they said. It just means that I pictured myself actively listening and engaging in the conversation in a way that the other person knew that I was present and I heard the points that they were trying to make. The outcome of that conversation made me a believer in the power of visualization. So it helped me stay calm and in control of my emotions. And we both left with this understanding of, even though there wasn't like this ultimate, we agree with everything that we said, it just was like this mutual respect over the conversation. So it is worth trying, in my opinion. So do some visualization. It is awesome. And then make sure that you're sharing your goals too with a trusted friend or a mentor, because knowing that someone's holding you accountable can be a powerful motivator. I have this friend that I actually just met because we're building a course, separate courses, but we're building courses together. Um, well, you know what I mean. So we ended up finding each other in the Facebook group. Well, she found me. And ever since, this was weeks ago. So now once a week, we meet to talk about what we're working on or what we're going to work on the next week. And that has been so helpful because I've actually been doing the things that we've been talking about because I don't want to disappoint when I go there. I want to go and have something to contribute to our meeting and conversation, you know? So that has been incredibly helpful. So I would absolutely suggest you having someone that can hold you accountable too. I think the other thing is once you put it out into the world, like what your goal is and say it to someone and then they hold you accountable also, it just is another barrier that we're putting in place so that we don't talk ourselves out of taking the action. We're pretty good at convincing ourselves of reasons why we can't or shouldn't take steps. So, on the flip side, though, we can learn to get really good at convincing ourselves to take the steps. And when we take action, even when we don't feel ready, there we could have some pretty awesome experiences. So every action that we take is a step towards our personal growth and development. It forces us to learn and to adapt and just to become a better version of ourselves. But taking that first step creates momentum. It's like pushing a heavy boulder. It takes effort to get moving, but once we get rolling, once it gets rolling, it just becomes a lot easier. So, ultimately, I would say ultimately the most significant benefit is just the realization of your dreams. Your goals are more attainable when you're actively working towards them. So, remember, success isn't reserved. It is absolutely not reserved for those who feel ready. It's for those who take action. And every one of us can take action. So challenge your fears, persist through the uncertainties, and that's key. That's what you got to do. All right? So why wait? I just gave you a handful of reasons why you shouldn't. So lean into them, start today, take the first step, and then watch your dreams become reality. So that's a wrap on my first episode. I'm doing it messy, and I'm hoping it's given some inspiration for you to move forward. And I just believe in you and you deserve success. So that's all I got. Thank you so much, so much for listening. Stay motivated. And remember, your potential is limitless. So I will see you next week. Thanks for joining. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Landing Imperfect. I truly appreciate you being a part of this community and sharing this journey with me. If you'd like to connect further and continue the conversation, you can find me on Instagram at jen.lander and on Facebook at Jen Lander. I'd love to hear your thoughts and questions or stories, so don't hesitate to reach out. And remember, this podcast is a personal project. It's unrelated to the full-time work I do for the company I help treat those with eating disorders. While I aim to provide professional and educational, inspirational content, it's important to understand that the podcast is not a substitute for professional treatment. So if you or someone that you know is struggling with any issues I've discussed, please consider seeking the help of a qualified healthcare professional. And I'll be back with another episode next week, so stay tuned and continue your journey to personal growth and empowerment. Can't wait to connect with you again. Until then, take care, and remember, it's okay to embrace your imperfections. They make you the amazing person that you are. See you next week.